Welcome back to the channel. It's time for the Werewolf by Night Rank 3 showcase. I love this champion, and keep in mind, he is not even awakened. At the very end of this, I'll show what fight where you're going to see like, oh, the awakened ability would have been really helpful. So he can only get better than what you're seeing right here. We've specifically chosen these fights to show off different parts of what I absolutely love about this guy right now. So we're going to go up against this serpent. Now, this is an unawakened serpent. So keep that in mind, right? Like sometimes we fight awakened ones, and that like immortality on the power gain is really, really brutal. But he's kind of annoying as it is already. Now, for those of you who know a little bit about Werewolf, you can see he started off with the full moon. This is going to be, I think, 1 week of each month. He's going to start off with 3 of his lycanthropy charges. It is really, really nice. But here's the really cool thing. I'm going to show you a bunch of fights without that. And all it does is make him from like a ridiculous champion to a super ridiculous champion. Essentially why that even matters is you're going to get up to these like lycanthropy charges. And then when you hit 10 of them, you can see we've got the red and brown passive up there. It's just going to make it increases the potency of your ruptures by, I believe it is 70%, even though he's not affected by attack increases and decreases as far as the specials are concerned. The ruptures can get more potent. And then I really want to show this to you right here. Like you can see how much damage we've done to Serpent because his specials are incredibly, incredibly long. It's going to come up in so many of the fights I'm going to show you today where you can very much take advantage of that. And don't worry, we're going to talk more and more about like how he actually works and all of that stuff, right? So there you go. That was a rank 2 serpent, toughest defender in the game, I think, right now. Not awakened, so it did remove one of his threats. Not going to hide the ball from you, but we are going to see a SIG 200 serpent later, and we're going to be just fine. You're going to see this. So, okay, here we go. This fight, it was a rank against a rank 3 or a rank 2 bishop when my werewolf was only rank 2. That just made me like, I'm ranking a werewolf. You know I love champions with power gain. I've talked to you all the time about that. Like as soon as I see them, I'm like, I'm interested. Werewolf has got the damage, the ruptures, the playstyle, everything to back it up and just fully take advantage of it. And you're very much going to see it right here in this fight. So what you're going to see is it can just allow you to completely bypass threats, right? Also, you can get the ruptures through the block, not only in these blocks, like right there. And it is important. When you get your howl right there, you saw the power gain. You get more if you have a rupture on the defender. So you want to make sure you've hit the block. He's got the double medium, so you're going to get those 2 ruptures. You can see how quickly we've gained ruptures. We weren't in the full moon, so right there we got it a little bit faster. You can see I messed up. I thought I was going to go unblockable. I don't know why. This was earlier on in my play with him, but we got the ruptures through the block anyway. And those are big ruptures as far as like also the decreased amount of time. So you're getting a more potent one. And that's why you're seeing so much damage out of his SP2. And then we can just go in, hold our blocks. You can see how much damage we've done before Bishop has even gotten to 2 bars of power. We're going to get to our second SP2 here and just absolutely obliterate. That Bishop could have had significantly more health and we would have still finished him off. So some more nice utility, right? Like the big showcase utility of the massive power, but then having the damage to back it up, and then things like rupture still through the blocks if you make a mistake or something like that. And then again, remember, not awakened at all. Now, this fight against Dust, I'm specifically showing it to you for a couple of reasons. One is I don't have a natural counter against this Dust, right? I have no plasma, I have no incinerate, so I gotta slow down against this Dust anyways because I can't do anything to get rid of sand. I think this was a rank 3 Dust. I don't remember. No, this was just a good battlegrounds matchup if I recall. So I'm gonna have to take this fight a little more slowly, right? That's one of the things with Dust is she kind of gets you to start playing a little antsy because you don't want to get her sandstorm going, so you got to be mindful of how much dust you have on yourself. So a champion with power gain is extremely helpful. Now, I don't want to hide the ball from you here, okay? You know me, we don't do that around here. The special 2, if you're in the Curse of Lycanthropy, right, which is when we get 10 of our charges, you can see we just got it, right? We'll talk a little bit more about the massive benefits from it, but the last 3 hits that could make contact deal an additional burst of 1,190 physical damage for each buff on the opponent. Now, this was a meta that was putting those armor up buffs on the defender, so because we were in Lycanthropy, because this was a special 2, we were going to get extra damage off that. So I don't want to hide the ball from you there. And then when you get into Curse of Lycanthropy, so when you reach 10 Lycanthropy charges, you're going to activate the curse. Wow, did my voice crack right there? This ability is paused during basic attacks, striker attacks, and special attacks, and while the opponent is outside of striking distance, and it has at least 2 unique buffs. So you're going to see that when we fight Serpent again later. Werewolf gains 70% rupture debuff ability accuracy, cool, but it's really the 70% personal rupture potency. That's why the SP2, those SP1s are hitting so incredibly hard when we have finally gotten there, right? And then this will come up in a later fight. You're going to gain unblockable and unstoppable passives for 2.5 seconds at the end of any heavy or special attack. You're also going to get a nice regen right there. So now we're going in against this Doom. And this is the one where I talked about, like, we're going to actually utilize that unblockable after a special. I've got the bleed on me. I think, this was that like chrono node or whatever, chrono arcan. I don't remember what it was called. It's pretty wild. I actually kind of had some fun with it. I kind of embraced the randomness of it and ended up having a little bit of fun. So you can see we're going in there. We're technically kind of unblockable because of the node, but right here we're going to utilize the unblockable after our special because we were in curse. Allows us to go in immediately, throw our striker, and just finish off that fight, get it done. So you can really start to use that to your advantage, right? Going unblockable, unstoppable. It sounds like Titania, but no, it's Werewolf with his massive power gain. And again, remember, none of this is awakened. We'll talk about that briefly at the very end of this video. So now we're going against the Serpent. I told you we would show you the SIG 200, right? That's going to give him that very, very long immortality. He's going to gain a ton of power. It's really, really annoying. You can't even like guarantee that you'll be able to neutralize it with any of the current 7-star champions because it has a plus 125% chance. So there's a variety of ways you can play this, and I'm still really working on that specific strategy for each matchup, but we're not in the full moon, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful, let's call it here, as far as using my howl and those sorts of things. But now it's go time. And remember, we talked about this when the opponent has, I think it's 2 or more unique buffs. When we're out of striking distance, our Curse of Lycanthropy actually pauses. So you can see it's paused. That was due to Serpent having thrown a special, but when we're out of striking distance, it's paused. So that's really helpful. And then this is what we talked about here. So I really could have waited there, just getting better play. Watching this through, I could have waited, used my unblockable, unstoppable, but right here we're finally going to use it, right? We get slightly lucky, but I'm comfortable with that being a good skill play. I was trying to bait a Serpent attack. I was going for the intercept, if not, and we can just completely utilize his long combo set with his double medium, his long special animation. So a lot of the Serpent fights you've seen taken by Werewolf, people are using that. As you see there, I could have gone on for significantly longer and bought more time for myself if I had needed to. Now, it doesn't help you in the current meta with the like plus 200% or whatever like that, but that's a very, very unique circumstance. So that's a way you can go ahead and take out Serpent, is really utilizing that. I just have so many mystics already that I love, but Banthing would be, I think, a really good defender, like a good general defender. Like, not a lot of metas would make them a bad defender. Curious about you all, though. Shoot, I do not remember how to fight this gal, and so we'll do what one does with Wolf when you don't remember how to fight someone. If this was a full moon, this would have been a lot better. And that's why I love the Wolf. I love this champion. Like, he's just ridiculous. Like, there's no world that should happen, but it does. But it does. All right, now we're going to go up against this rank 5 Ascended Onslaught. This is Rich Get Richer node. There's going to be parts here where Onslaught's going to get a buff, and then I think we're going to hold on to our precision buff, right? Because we're going to dex at some point, and just really, really cool. It allows us to neutralize it, and then I love showing off Powergain, just because I can't emphasize enough how powerful that is in this game, and to have a champion that can do it's like Hyperion-esque. I'm not kidding. I really, really think that they are like playing in the same sphere as far as having the massive damage to take advantage of it. As you can see here, this is a Rich Get Richer node. Onslaught even has a buff. Now I do too, so that cancels it out. But what I'm pointing out is by just hitting his block, not only am I damaging him, getting these Raptors up, but I'm going to be at 2 bars of power, I think, almost as soon as he crosses it. So, yeah, we're going to have to bait one special. And if I had wanted to be more patient with it all, we might not have even had to do that. So now I just need to get my Chilling Howl. Yeah, there we go. And we are now in. If I was Awakened, and that's the one thing I wanted to point out. So the Awakened ability is when you if you Chilling Howl above 1 bar of power, you're going to gain an unblockable passive. Really, really cool, really helpful. I think that's going to really come into handy on defense for me. And then, or for Awakened, you know, and then Chilling Howl above 2 bars of power, gain an unstoppable passive for up to 3.5 seconds. Could have used it right there. Shave off some time, use it as like a counter attack. And then the third bullet point is your personal regeneration potency for each unique buff on the opponent goes up, right? So that's when the lycanthropy charges and all that stuff kind of come into play. So the curse of lycanthropy. But you can see right there how we use the unblockable and the unstoppable to our advantage, similar to what I think we could do with the Awakened ability. And then what you just saw is what I've been talking about too. So it's really nice utility. You're not able to lock down. This isn't like the Ronin stun or something like that. But you have this very long period of time where you can do significant damage to an opponent and not worry very much at all about potentially pushing them red because you're doing so much damage. It's borderline mind-blowing for MCoC that I don't even have him awakened yet. I can tell I am like scratching the surface of what's possible with him. Going over and redoing this video, picking certain fights to show you parts of his utility or what you can do with him that I particularly like, seeing all the gameplay errors or things I could at least like clean up, and still having tremendous results. Like the Negason Teenage Warhead one, just you can see how giddy I was because that was such a perfect example of like, I'm not even sure what my defender's going to do, what threats the node and the defender's going to throw at me, but I've got Werewolf. So if I just play Werewolf, there's a good chance this is going to go fine. And you saw that win significantly more than fine. I love him. I'm sure I'm going to get out tons more videos on this guy so we get him awakened, take him to further ranks, and actually just get better at playing him, like making more split-second quick decisions, defenders, things like that. As usual, though, let me know what we got right. Let me know what we think we got wrong. We didn't even talk about what he does to poison and all that stuff. He's a very good quester as well. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.